Hey there TPS fans, Aaron here, and you're probably wondering, who the heck is Aaron? Well, I'm TPS's newest addition, and I'm here to bring you a new segment called Oh Yeah, They Did That, where we look back at some of the craziest feats in sports that you may have forgotten all about. Feel free to drop me a line in the comments section, let me know how you like the new segment, or just tell me how great my voice sounds. For the second iteration of this new series, we're talking about an NFL player that dislocated his finger, popped it back in, and tackled Marshawn Lynch all in one play. Now at this point, some of you may be wondering who in the world we're talking about. Well, guess what? Just like our mysterious blind Super Bowl MVP, we're not going to give you the answer that easily. We're still going to make you work for it a little, but we're also going to help break it down for you. So play along and see if you can guess who it is. Okay, so what do we know about this mystery NFL player who, despite having dislocated his finger, was able to pop it back in mid-play and then tackle Marshawn Lynch all in one smooth move? Well, unlike our first video on a former Super Bowl MVP, where there were only a limited number of Super Bowl MVPs, in this case, there are plenty of players in the NFL that have dislocated a finger during a game. And don't worry, just because we want to build some suspense doesn't mean we can't help you out and start to dwindle down the field for you. We know that the player who pulled off the feat had to have played during Marshawn Lynch's time in the league, so anyone who retired before 2007 is out of contention. Still, 12 plus years is a pretty wide time frame to pick out one guy for a single epic but also obscure play. So, let us make it a little bit easier on you. We'll give you a few clues to help narrow it down. First off, the play happened while Lynch was still a member of the Seattle Seahawks, the first go-around, meaning it took place between 2010 and 2015, which makes the feat all the more impressive considering that Beast Mode was at the peak of his powers during that time. Anyways, I'm assuming that even the most seasoned football fans out there are still a little cloudy on this. So let's take it a step further, and I promise this hint will be even more insightful. The player who successfully popped his finger back in during a play and proceeded to tackle Marshawn Lynch was a member of the Carolina Panthers when he did it. Hopefully some light bulbs are starting to go off. And for a player to have enough time to dislocate a finger, pop it back in, recover, and then make a tackle, they obviously had to be pretty quick, and also would have had to start the playoff far enough down the field to be able to make that tackle, meaning that any defensive linemen are out of the question. And realistically, when was the last time you saw a cornerback take down Marshawn Lynch? And how would a DB have even jammed his finger in the first place? It isn't like they're in the trenches or shedding blockers that often, which leaves us with a linebacker as our primary suspect. A linebacker who played for the Carolina Panthers between 2010 and 2015. Could it have been the recently retired Luke Kuechly? He was a staple in the Panthers' defense during the stretch, and he's made a number of insane plays during his time. Surprisingly, it isn't him. How about James Anderson? He signed a juicy 5-year extension with Carolina in 2011 and set a franchise record with 20 tackles in a single game. Maybe one of those was his daring dislocated finger takedown. Nope, wrong again. So then who was it? It was none other than the former Georgia Bulldog, Thomas Davis. For anyone who knows Davis's backstory, it should not come as a surprise that he was able to pull off such a ridiculous feat. After all, Thomas Davis was one of the all-time freak athletes in a league that is seemingly loaded with them. In high school, Davis was a 4-sport star, playing football, basketball, baseball, and track. On the football team, he did it all. Offense, defense, hell, he even kicked for the team. And returned kicks. Even so, he was not highly recruited because he came from such a small high school. So, he completed a little mini combine to help get his name out there, during which he ran a 4.54 second 40-yard dash, had a 355-pound bench press, 520-pound squat, 324-pound hang clean, and 34-inch vertical jump. Keep in mind, this is while he was in high school. His freakish tendencies didn't stop there either. Davis suffered from some injury problems early in his career. Actually, to call it some problems might be underselling it. He tore his ACL 3 times and still was able to come back to the NFL, marking the first time that a professional athlete ever returned to play in the top league for his sport following 3 ACL tears. Not to mention the fact that all 3 of the tears were in the same knee. Needless to say, Thomas Davis was no stranger to inhuman feats of toughness and athleticism. Let's fast forward to 2015. Davis was now 4+ years out from his last ACL surgery, and he was about to take the league by storm with a stretch of dynamite play, during which he would earn 3 consecutive Pro Bowl selections from 2015 through 2017. His Panthers were taking on a tough Seattle Seahawks team in Week 6 of the 2015 season. They won their first 4 games of the year, and were looking to average a brutal 31-17 thumping that they had taken from the Seahawks during the previous year's divisional round. The Seahawks, on the other hand, were off to an uncharacteristically slow 3-2 start, so they were eager to right the ship against the Panthers. The two teams met at CenturyLink Field, and the game was tightly contested all the way through, making each play more and more pivotal as the game went on. The play in question took place during a crucial fourth-quarter defensive stand for Carolina, with the Seahawks driving down the field. Seattle was set up in a shotgun set, and with the receivers downfield all locked up, quarterback Russell Wilson hit Marshawn Lynch in the flat on a check down. Lynch had all sorts of room downfield and started making his move. Meanwhile, in the middle of the field, Seahawks offensive lineman J.R. Sweezy started charging downfield looking for would-be tacklers to block. He happened upon Davis, who had been patiently waiting for the play to develop, and started to track down Lynch. Sweezy engaged Davis for a moment, and as the two lock arms, you see Davis quickly withdraw his arms, and in the little bit of space between the two, you can see him step back and clasp his two hands together. Then, he appears to pull on his finger before breaking around Sweezy and into the flat, where he closed in on Lynch and brought him down.
Popping a finger back into place mid-play is the stuff of Ray Nitschke and Dick Butkus.
At a glance, it isn't entirely clear what exactly happened, but when the NFL Films cameras from NBCSN's Turning Point captured the moment and slowed it down, it looks like he's not just shedding a blocker and making a big-time tackle with the game on the line, but also popping his finger back into the joint.
They knew the screen was coming.
Let's go. Let's go. I hit the lineman. My finger came out right up. I popped it back into place. Damn.
After the game, media members asked Davis about the incident, looking for confirmation that he did in fact dislocate and subsequently relocate his finger. Davis proudly confirmed the event, saying, "What am I gonna do? Go to the sideline, talk to the trainers about a finger? I can do the same thing they're going to do. Pop it back in place, tape it up, and keep moving. Game on the line, I have to stay on the field." Oh, of course. He continued, "No big deal. My finger came out of place enough times. Probably the worst one was a few years ago in Miami. So this little thing right here was not that serious. In Miami, the bone came through the skin and I had to deal with that. It was in the heat of the battle, man. The game's on the line. They threw a screen play. It was a natural reaction. Pop it back in place, keep going." Sure, Thomas. Sure. No big deal. A very casual play. Huh. Well, believe it or not for Davis, it kind of was. He would later estimate that he had dislocated that same finger at least 5 or 6 times that season alone, continuing to say, "Yeah, my pain tolerance is pretty high right now." You think? When you think about it, it does kind of make sense though, that if anyone was going to pull off a stunt like this, it would be Thomas Davis. Like I said before, he did recover from 3 ACL tears and then proceeded to elevate his game to all-pro status. A measly finger dislocation must have seemed like child's play for him. I mean, just listen to this rundown from his career injury report. Bruised chest rib, torn labrum in his shoulder, MCL sprain, hamstring and thigh sprain, the 2 ACL tears he had in the league, another hamstring and thigh sprain, broken rib, broken forearm, which, by the way, he got surgery on and played in the Super Bowl 2 weeks later. At least out of this one, we got another insanely awesome feat out of Davis, which gave us football fans a nice opportunity to go down memory lane about all the other legendary tough guy moments Davis had put on display in the past. Although I guess some people were a little scared by the finger maneuver, and we're just thankful that Davis didn't try to perform any more mid-game procedures, which, considering how much his injury report goes on, is probably a good thing. So yeah, maybe he had a point about that whole pain tolerance thing. When you're getting dinged up that often, at some point it has to start to become a very relative experience. That's not to take anything away from his warrior-like mentality. After all, it is a truly epic feat. Fortunately, it does seem like he has started to turn the corner a little bit in regards to the whole being injury-prone thing. After 3 consecutive years between 2009 and 2011, where he played in 7, then 0, then 2 games in each respective year, he has been much more durable. With the exception of 2018, when he only played 12 games, Davis has played in at least 15 games in every season since 2012, which, considering his extensive injury history, is pretty impressive. Although, knowing Davis, he could still be suffering any number of nasty injuries and just choosing to play through it instead. In all honesty, that is probably more likely than him actually remaining injury-free. What's the most impressive thing you've seen in an NFL game? Join us in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps us out a ton, and we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.